Okay, it is September 10th, 2019. Today was a monumental day in my life because it was the first audition that I've ever had in New York City. It was for a musical theater show, and it was especially fitting for me because it needed a cast that was, one, looking very young, like teenagers, two, speaks Mandarin Chinese fluently, three, actor, musician, and four, not particularly trained voices. So it was kind of perfect. It's pretty wild that that this even exists and that I happen to be in town exactly 1 week in time for it. So I'm just gonna go really fast over how it went and then kind of debrief a little bit. I'm really trying not to think about it too much. But okay, so what I wore is this. I did not wear the glasses because I don't want to do that. I have these pink shoes that I got, these pink pants. I had a white belt. I don't really want to go get it. I do not have the watch because I can't play my violin with it. This jacket, you see it. This is what I wore. Anyways, this show is being directed by a director who, I'm going to take this off now that I've shown you my outfit. It's hot. Oof. So I have been aware of his work for a very long time. He actually choreographed a show that one of my dream roles, like my dream role, is in. So like he's up there. And this would just be a really, really great show to do, and I'm glad that I just got to go in for it. So let's see, how did it go down? I prepared so much over the weekend. There were 2 sides that I had to learn, all in Chinese, which took an extra layer of learning, 2 songs, and I had to prepare a little 30-second snippet of violin to play. So today my audition was at 12:20 at Pearl Studios. I've never been there before, so I rode the subway with my violin, got into Pearl Studios, found the place, signed in, and waited around. And they told me that they were running a little bit early, so I was like, okay, so I'll just take some time, run through the lines just one more time, in the space, just to calm myself down, even though I was feeling pretty confident already just because of the preparation that I put in. And a couple of minutes after I got there, I think the room took a quick break. 2 men came out who I thought, could possibly be the director. So the thing is, I know the director's name, I just don't know what he looks like. And I, on purpose, didn't really want to know because it might psych myself out. I was just trying to do everything I could to calm myself down. Beforehand, I had taken some CBD oil to calm my muscles down because whenever your muscles are calm, I'm mentally more confident that I won't mess up because, whenever your muscles are all freezy, you can't play as well or sing, but I can never sing anyways, so I was feeling pretty good. And finally the monitor goes, okay, Mia, I'm gonna bring you in now. So we went in. There were about 15 people in the room. There were 2 rows of tables. It was a lot of people. And on one of the sides they had a film crew basically because they're making a documentary about this entire process. So my audition was filmed for documentary purposes, a documentary, not documenting for them to go back and watch. Yeah. So I found a spot to stand where I could see the pianist and whatnot, and these 2 men who had come outside earlier were sitting front and center, and one of them actually asked me oh, what is that? He saw my violin, and I was like, oh, it's a violin. He's like, cool. And he said, okay, so we're going to start with the songs first. We're going to start with the first one. And I went over to the pianist and I, just looked at the measures of accompaniment that happened before, and then I asked him to play a couple of notes ahead. I hope that didn't make me look unprepared, but at this point I'm not thinking about it and I needed it. I'd rather ask than to mess up while singing. So I did both of my songs. My second one I did not get to ask for a note ahead of time, so I just had to start and hope that my note was right, and it was. Good. I would say I give myself an 80 to 85 grade on my songs. I'm not super good at singing. That's an 80-85 on a Mia scale, which is and then I got to do my sides, which we only had to do one of, we got to do the one that's easier for me, which was good. It was good. I got to focus on the reader, so I wasn't thinking about like, oh, when am I going to mess up my line? When am I going to mess up my line? Which I sometimes do think about, but I wasn't because I was at ease and confident. And I think I did pretty well. It's pretty heightened language, so I'm not really sure that that was a best showcase of my acting style, but you know, it is what it is. And then the man in the middle looks at my violin and he's like, okay, can we hear some of that? And I was like, yeah. So I took a second, got my violin out. I asked them if I could take a moment to tune, just to get my violin accustomed to the room, and they were like, of course. So they waited, and I tuned, tested my first stroke with a bow and then my chord with my left hand, and when I had everything ready, I just went for it, and I basically nailed it. A little bit of slip-ups, but the song that I chose is so fast that if you don't know the song, you probably wouldn't even notice. And I finish, it's a big finish, and I look over, and the man in the middle is like, whoa. And the thing is, I'm just glad with how that went. I'm glad that I didn't blank out in the middle of my violin song, So I got to walk out of that room feeling like, you know what, like I'm happy with how this went for being my first audition. And then I went and I got interviewed by their little like film crew, because they're interviewing everybody to cover all the bases and everything. And then that was it. So here's I guess a little tiny debrief. On the way down the elevator, I looked up the director, and like, yeah, he was that man at the table, which I'm incredibly lucky that my first audition was in front of the director. Usually the first round of auditions are maybe not even in front of the casting director. It's usually a casting associate, maybe the assistant to the director. It's like a super pre-screening. But this, like, I got to go in there in front of the director, which was incredible. And not only that, but I got to do my thing. Like, violin is my thing. And I got to do that in front of him. And no matter what happens today, like, I got to rock out on my violin in front of this Broadway director, and that's already enough. That's enough to be a victory. It doesn't even matter what happens from here on out, because what happens from here on out, it's not in my control, but what I did in my control was really great work, I think. I don't want to think too much about it, because I'm going to move onward, but I just wanted to document this in case anything comes of it. I would like to document this. I honestly, like, this is documenting my first audition in New York. That's a big milestone for me. So yeah, that's how it went. Hopefully it's the first of many, but we will see.